Morning everyone, so today we're at a Hyundai or a Hyundai ix35 CRDi. The customer's complaint with this mean machine has a gear problem, i.e. they can't get it into gear. So I put my foot on the clutch and I go to engage, say, reverse gear. Hear the noise? Horrible. Go try first gear. The car will not engage. But if I stop it, put it into reverse and then try and start it, it will go into gear, but you've seen it jumped forward slightly. So, and also, it'll come out of gear. So, oh dear, it's stuck in gear now right now. So what we think this one needs is a clutch, and indeed if you're underneath the car you can hear it. There's a rumbling sound, so I don't know if the pressure plate has felt a bit, I'm not really sure, but get it in the workshop and get the box out. With the engine running, you can actually see it's not the selector mechanism because, oh dear, maybe it is. You can go back and forward. There's reverse there. Oh dear. I put the clutch in. Very sticky. I've even got a 6 gear. I think it's a box. I've managed to remove the airbox, so I've got to get my friend to press the clutch and see how much movement we get in this. Over it, Bonnet, lad! Run off! And on! That looks about right. No bother, my man, cheers! So here we go, we're going to do the clutch on this. So first things first, remove the airbox. So you see there's a couple of clips there either side, and then just disconnect it down near the turbo. See where it connects to the turbo there, so that's a 10mm, and remove the full man jack with the electrical connector onto the air mass meter. Then you're left with the bottom bit of this box, and you can see there's a 10mm bolt down there, and the rest just pulls up. So that brings that out. Then you remove this under tray, that's actually the top of the engine cover. So it's held on with 12mm bolts, and some of these, I'll show you them, little clips that you need a cat's claw to get into. So these little plastic clips that hold some of the tray on, part of the tray, a screwdriver, and use a cat's claw to get underneath that to prise it up, then you turn the screw out. Then what we've also done is remove the bonnet. So that's the 12mm, can't remember, 12mm. So they come off, and it gives you great access into the engine bay. So next thing, remove the battery. So that'll be 2 10mm, and then we'll remove the battery tray as well. Remove the battery tray. So you see you've got a 12mm bolt there and one there, and you're down the back there, it'll hold the ECU bracket on, so that goes underneath that. So, oh wait, I'll show you that. That tips underneath that. So, out with that, and you can see there's a couple of cable ties at the front there that hold that wire conduit on. So I need to cable tie that back up again onto the bottom of the battery tray. So that's there. Next thing we can do is remove, I'll put the light on here. Remove that earth strap there onto the body, and also disconnect down here. I believe that's the neutral switch, and you can see this one is leaking. So I need to ask the customer if they want it repaired, but that's the neutral switch. And then we can also disconnect. Oh, that looked loose. This is loose. Rudy. False call, I don't know. That's still intact actually, but not to worry. So, remove the air straps, a 13mm bolt. There we go. Oh dear. So we'll pop the bolt back in onto the box. Keep it there. There we go. 4 tons, Roddy says is sufficient. 4 tons. So then we'll remove these pins. And there's another pin down the back there to hold the gear selector mechanism on, and then we'll just take up the whole main jack to get access to these bolts. So there you go, the pin, you just push this bit out just a little bit and pull that away, and then you retract that bit at the top, put it somewhere safe, and then that should just lift off. There you go, there's one done, and now I'm just going to do this the same at the back here as well. Get that off. So remove the 3 12mm bolts from the selector rod. You see, I've got the A2, and this one was loose anyway, so that moves, so that movement will be fine. And remove the reversing light connector. You just squeeze the tab there, and off it comes. Leave that like that. Also had to cut that. See the cable tie connector, that one there, in order to make that loose. There we go. And I put the bolts back in the box just to remind myself where they are. So we then remove the hub nut on the driver's side. We've done it on the passenger side as well, but you can actually fold that mat, but never worry. So there we go, it's 32mm. Let's give it the buzz. No bother, as they say. So put it back in, give it a punch through there to punch it through. At the bottom ball joint, straighten out the split pin, like I've done there. And then you just give it a little chop up the way. Should wiggle itself out. There we go. Then you use a 17mm socket at the bottom there, and we'll buzz it off with impact. There you go, and it's smoking. Finish this bolt out. So what I've done is you leave the nut on, and you put your punch in the middle there and hit it with a hammer. But this one was very tight, so what I've done was at the back here, put this light on, this 17mm bolt, I got it turning first using impact, and then it started to move. So you use a hammer and chisel to go in there, oops, and open up the joint. So just take the hammer, bang bang bang, open up that joint and give it a bit side to side movement as well, and it opens it up. So once that joint is open, you can then just take your hammer and you can see that comes down and opens up nicely. So I'll just do the same to the other side. So there we go, that one's removed from that side, and it's exactly the same at the other side. So what we're going to do now is drain the gearbox oil, and I believe, is it that one? The stuff comes out, so we're going to catch that. Drain it, it's a 17mm bolt, and I'll get my bucket underneath and get ready to catch it. Strange colour for gearbox oil, I would assume. It's usually different colours, I know. There we go, we'll wait for that to drain down. Drain most of it down, just pop the bolt back in, because you'll be there forever and a day waiting for it drip, drip, drip. The 3 10mm screws holding this plastic cover on, see, 1, 2, 3. 3 10mm bolts. Extracted the drive shaft from the gearbox So all I did was used a chisel like that and just put it up and wedged it to the side, and Roddy pulled back in this thing and out it popped. So we've removed the drive shaft, chisel in like so, and then just hit it with a hammer and out she comes. Drive shaft out, as you can see, and we've just left it hanging there because the box is going that way. So we're going to move this stabiliser bar here and this one here. In fact, I could just take it right out these nuts here. That'd be easier. Flip that out. So these are actually 14mm sockets, these. Look at that one. That one. That one's loose. And then we've got this one. And they come out like that because there's one up the back there, so I need to take this bolt out. Yeah, that's 17. A 17 spanner on this side and a 17 socket on the other. And buzz that out. And leave the bolts in. Easier to find them the next time, so there you go, it goes in like that. Now I've removed these two 10mm bolts that go into the bottom of this turbo pipe, intercooler pipe, and that just allows a bit wiggle there to get access to the bolts for the box. Also see that the starter motor needs to come off. There's a starter motor there, and the slave cylinder has to be removed, so that with 12mm bolts, 13, something like that. To be 14mm all round the box here, so there's one. There's another 14.2. And then got this one at the back here, number 3. And there's one higher up there. Show you up there. There's a 14mm. Removing the slave cylinder at the clutch cylinder to 12mm there, and then there's another one just up there. I used a little ratchet spanner to get into that, so remove these. There you go. See, I've left the bolts back in for the slave cylinder, that one there, and this one here has a little spacer. Let's see if you can see that, in at the back there, so when the bracket goes back on for the slave cylinder pipe work. So going to start tackling these bolts now up the top. So that's a big one up there, so it's 17, so use a little buzz gun. Now I've disconnected the crankshaft sensor. You can see the connector there runs along down the back of the box, and it's held on by a 10mm bolt, so it's easier to disconnect it up there. And then there's another electrical multi-plug. I'll see if I can get a shot down the back there. See that one there? Oh. There it's there. That goes onto that connector. Oh. Just doing the handstands here in the box. So see the tab there? The tab squeezes in to release that. So I don't know if that's some kind of sensor in the box. Left the slave cylinder tucked up out the road there. That's okay. It's not going anywhere. So that's its full extension. What else? So I think it's just time. We use our block and tackle with our hoist. So we'll take the weight of the box and then we'll remove this engine mount here. Try and take it off here so it gives the box more clearance for when we go down the way. So that's the next thing we're going to do, because I think we're clear. And these are in at the back there. Let's see. That's a 17mm bolt, and then it's a 14mm bolts are the rest, so you can see one bolt there, and then the other one's along there. That's another 17mm bolt. So hopefully that's all the bolts, but we can count them once the box is out. What we do here is take the weight of the box with our hoist and buzz out these ones. These are 17, top and bottom, and once we get them out, take the weight of the box, and then we can take these ones out, and then we can make our way down to the bottom and clear out that engine mount, the gearbox mount, and that gives us plenty of room to lower the box and take it down this way. You see we've removed that engine mount, so it's 1, 2, 3 17mm bolts, and we buzzed these two 17mm out there. So you remove that. Now our hoist is taking the weight off the gearbox, but Roddy gave me a top tip. See this one here? Be very careful about removing these bolts, because if you over tighten them already,
the alloy,
aye, you're going into the alloy, and if you go back into that and it's wrong, it'll crack the alloy, and you'll need a gearbox. So we think we've got enough clearance just leaving that block on there. So touch these at your own peril. Underneath it, and you can see that we've loosened off the starter motor bolts, right? So that's the two longer ones that go through to the starter motor, and the rest are all 12mm, and they're that size, right? But there's one up the back here. Let me see it. That is longer. So that's that size, but not quite as long as the starter motor bolts. So that's just for my reference and yours. Right, there's all the bolts, everyone. So that's the normal size one. That's the starter motor ones. That's the 17mm up the top. And then you've got that other odd one. It goes to the back. And then we'll have a hidden bolt. And there's a bolt there. And it's in behind this cover. It's held on with two 10mm. And that cover just goes right up there. Pop that cover off and you get the hidden bolt in there. So there you go. I don't know. That's like an inspection hatch for the flywheel. Of course, with this being a diesel, it'll have dual mass, I would believe. So there you go. It's Guy. No, that's not bad. It's a wee bit oily. There you go. So you can see the box is now gapped. So it's lift off. So Roddy's got the clutch out and he's going to explain to us what's wrong with this. So he says there's a hidden gem. So that looks alright to me. Oh, I hear rattling. Oh, there we go. He's right again. Broken spring. Brilliant. Oh, there it's here. That was the cause of our problems.
Right, that's how it was working, another working, because it was hitting the...
Oh, right, jamming. So what we can do, Roddy, we'll get a solder gun, put it back together, and then we'll just put it back in. Right. We'll not do that. We've got a Sachs clutch there. I don't know what makes that one.
Look, LUK, is it?
LUK.
LUK.
Now, what do you think caused that? Lack of use? Because a lot of rust. Because we looked at this here, and look at that.
It's been off the road for
a year. I think off the road for a year. Look at the sparkles going about.
I think it's got jammed with the froster, so it's got jammed
right,
in there.
It's broke it.
When it's tried to do it, it's too much. It's jammed with the rust.
Right.
That's what I think. It's broke the springs.
There we go. Oh well.
It was right enough. 18 months ago.
Put it back together. So there was a few bolts came out of that one. See, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Is there one missing, really? Is it just 9 bolts?
9 bolts.
9 bolts. So there's 9 bolts here. There's the release bearing and the fork. I'd say to Roddy, I'd wonder if that was maybe a bit squint, but I was wrong. So that'll get renewed. New clutch in. Bingo. So. And it's got a dual mass flywheel. It's a great chunky flywheel, that. Look at that. So he's good. The way you check them is for movement in them, but that does not move, that one. Right, here we go. So there's a new clutch kit, new release bearing, Sachs clutch. You can see it's got written on it. Flywheel side. It's always Roddy says it's always the thicker bit that goes inside. So So that goes inside like that, and there's a pressure plate, and we get a little grease. I think that's a little grease. High performance grease. Grease? That's a film, is it no? There we go, you put that in the splines for the release bearing. So we'll get that popped on.